Okay, that's what a carcass is, right? So if you're a primordial herder, your wealth is in the bodies of your herd animals. Okay, a body is a symbol of stored wealth. In the Mesopotamian pantheon, the careless kill their father and live on its corpse. Okay, that's what's happened to the universities. So since World War II, the West has gathered huge storehouses of value everywhere. Harvard's a great example. Immense endowment. Remarkably valuable brand. Disney's another example. And what's happened is, and this happens all the time, if you have an unguarded storehouse of value, the parasites come marching in. Right, and they try to live on the corpse. Now, they can for a while because it's a storehouse of value, but they kill the spirit. Now, what happens in the Mesopotamian story is that chaos itself comes flooding back in the form of Tiamat, who's extremely, the goddess of chaos, who's extremely angry that her husband has been sacrificed by the careless denizens of the world. That's the death of God. So, yeah, and the savior emerges in the Mesopotamian story. It's so interesting. So the savior that emerges to set things right has eyes all the way around his head. So he pays attention and he speaks magic words. That's Marduk. And so the Mesopotamian empire was an avatar of Marduk, and he's the spirit of responsibility that sets the world right. Okay, so what are we seeing? We're seeing the invasion of storehouses of wealth by the parasites, fundamentally. Has that killed them? I can't think through how you would rescue an institution, a typical upper-level university institution. What are you going to do? How are you going to do that? You're going to fire 80% of the people? Who's going to do that?
Right.
No one's going to do that. Now, you could say, well, we'll make DEI initiatives forbidden. They're kind of doing that in Florida. But all you do is change the words. I mean, that's what the postmodernists did with Marxism in the 1970s when it no longer was fashionable to worship Stalin after everybody realized that he was a psychopathic murderer. All that happened was the French intellectuals changed the terminology and they invented a form of Marxism that was even worse than Marxism, which was really quite the bloody achievement. Do I think they can be rejuvenated? I can't see how.
Well, when you have people like the president of Harvard that gets fired for plagiarism but maintains the exact same salary in a different job.
Yeah, as if demotion to a full Harvard professor was, well, you know, she's not suitable to be president, but she can still be a fully tenured professor at Harvard. It's really, she can, eh? With that publication record. I just interviewed Carol Swain. Do you know who Carol Swain is?
No.
Black law professor from whom Gay plagiarized much of her work. Yeah, fun. So what do you do with an institution that's that far gone? You saw what those university professors did at Congress.
Yeah.
And they thought they were right. They didn't even look put upon. They looked put upon and shocked when they were challenged by the congressman.
Because they're not accustomed to being questioned and also to communicating outside of their bubble. In their bubble, where their opinion is held in high esteem.
Yes, and everyone else is an idiot as far as they're concerned.
Well, when the woman from Penn, when she was smiling every time she was answering these questions.
It was. I'd never seen anything like that. Like, I knew that the universities had become warped. And the warp is very deep. So I talked about the Mesopotamian story, and there's another angle of deep warping. So the spirit of Marx is a very old spirit. It was alive in the French Revolution. It was alive in the Soviet Revolution. You can trace it all the way back to the story of Cain and Abel, as far as I'm concerned. And the story of Cain and Abel is the story of the fundamental human dynamic after the fall of man. So insofar as we're historical creatures, the story of Cain and Abel lays out the essential psychological conflict that characterizes human beings. And so you have Cain on the one side. So Cain doesn't bring his best to the table. He makes second-rate offerings and lies about it. And then they're not accepted by him or his fellow man or women or by society or by God. And that makes him bitter